Every hotel has secrets, but one hotel hid a room that officially never existed. For nearly 40 years, guests vanished without leaving a single trace. Every missing person had one thing in common. They all checked into the same hotel. But according to official records, room 913 had never been built. The floor map skipped directly from 912 to 914. When I asked about room 913, everyone suddenly became uncomfortable. She whispered, "If you hear knocking, don't answer." I assumed it was another ghost story until the elevator stopped. The hallway was impossibly quiet. 907, 909, 911. Then there it was, a room that shouldn't exist. Yet somehow the key fitted perfectly. Inside, silence swallowed everything. It looked abandoned, yet perfectly prepared for a guest. Someone had just poured tea. Every missing guest had signed the same book. Only one empty space remained, and then my name began writing itself. I never touched the pen, yet my name was already there. The ink dried before my eyes as if someone invisible had finished writing for me. I needed proof before anyone called me insane. Daniel looks at his phone screen. The photo shows an empty table, no registry, no pen, no teacup. But the photograph showed nothing. It was as if the room refused to be remembered. Then the clock began turning backward. Even gravity no longer made sense. Every shadow seemed alive, and every one of them moved closer. Outside the window, the city had disappeared. Something was standing out there, watching. It lifted its hand, inviting me closer. Every instinct told me not to look again. Then came 3 slow knocks. They weren't coming from the hallway. At first, it looked empty. Then I noticed another door hidden behind the coats. No hotel blueprint ever mentioned a basement beneath room 913. Every step felt like walking deeper into someone else's nightmare. Below the hotel, there were countless more rooms, and someone had been waiting for me all along. He didn't move, he simply waited. When he looked up, I realized he had no face. Every instinct told me to run. Instead, he pointed toward room 001. Each room looked older than the last, as if time had stopped down here. One door opened without anyone touching it. Someone had checked in, but never checked out. The luggage belonged to a man who vanished nearly 40 years ago. He had been watching every guest long before they disappeared. Every journal ended exactly the same way. The final words were always identical. Then the knocking returned, not from one room, from every room. Something wanted out. Even the bellhop moved out of its way. The darkness wasn't smoke, it was moving on its own. The missing guests were still here. One spirit spoke only 3 words: "Close the door." I finally understood. This wasn't where people disappeared. It was where something came through. The light wasn't comforting. It felt like a warning. Behind the door wasn't another room. It was another hotel. The moment I crossed the threshold, there was no way back. Every guest stood motionless, like mannequins waiting to wake up. Some of them had disappeared decades before I was born. Only one person moved. She silently showed me where to look. The hotel's real guest book had been waiting for centuries. Every missing guest, every forgotten traveler, every lost soul was listed. My name had already reached the final page. Beside it, today's date appeared. I refused to let the hotel decide my fate. That's when everyone looked at me. They weren't trying to hurt me. They were trying to warn me. The girl pointed toward the only escape. The guests stayed behind, buying me precious seconds. I never even learned her name. The elevator climbed higher than any building ever could. When the doors opened, it looked like I had escaped. Everything looked normal. I rushed to the front desk, desperate to leave. Then her expression changed. According to the hotel, I had checked in 40 years ago. That was impossible. I wasn't even born then. Without saying a word, she gave me the same key. I didn't want answers anymore. I just wanted out. For one brief moment, I believed I had escaped. The hotel remained exactly where I left it. Every piece of evidence had vanished. No one believed my story, so I documented everything. 3 nights later, someone knocked. Inside was another reservation with my name already printed on it. Then a new message wrote itself. 3 knocks, exactly as before. This time, I didn't answer. The knocking stopped, but something had already come inside. Some invitations never expire. Some hotels are built to shelter travelers. Others are built to keep them forever. If you ever receive a key to room 913, don't check in.